Okay, so the purpose of pre-parting is simply to get a really good overview of the placement of all your rows, especially on thicker, longer hair. It's the perfect way to ensure like your finished look is flawless. So you would want to start by pre-parting a middle section in the back and then connecting it in the front. Remember, we're just focused on placement, not crisp parts. Now in the front, we're going to start with this line right above the ear. So that way you're connecting your rows seamlessly from the back to the top. Now, it's important to always make sure that your client's chin is up, because if their head is constantly tilting forward or their chin is touching their chest, your lines will be off. So you'll get that first row. That first row will then create the first top row of the front of the hair. So again, this part has to be parallel to the floor so that your braids aren't slanted. Again, just make sure their chin is up as you continue to pre-part. So as we get started on the bottom row, you want to make sure that you know how many rows you'll have in the back, and that is determined by your size chart. So I'm pre-parting for a small knotless install right now. So normally from the top of the ear to the bottom of the neck or the nape area, depending on your size chart, that will determine how many rows you're actually putting in at the bottom. Now everybody's size chart is different. Some people's smalls look like medium knotless to me, and some people's smalls look like micros. So to each his own when it comes to sizing. And here, if you want to cornrow it to have a better overview on the width of each row, you can do that instead of just loosely plaiting the whole section. I recommend that if you're just starting to learn the pre-part. Now for the top, we're going to go ahead and split it right above that ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with that middle part row first. Because one thing I hate is when you start braiding and then you finish at the top and your middle part rows are so much wider than the rest of the hair. So to ensure that everything at the finished part of the hair, which is the top, is seamless, you just start pre-parting that section first, and then you make all the other rows match that row that's closest to your middle part, if that makes sense. And again, based on my size chart for my small knotless install, I'm able to fit a couple of rows here. I believe I had like 6 rows or something. And remember, it's not about perfect parts. As you can see, I'm not going in and cleaning up any parts. It's mainly placement. You want to make sure that the placement of your rows and your parts are exactly where you want it to be when your install is complete. You'll clean all that up as you're braiding. And sometimes when you do pre-part, you might actually end up with a section that's a little bit bigger than others. But that's the whole beauty of pre-parting, is as you're going through it, you can actually go in and just kind of clean that up as you go through. Either way, pre-parting does save you so much time and guesswork. So if you're new to braiding, don't skip this step. I know it normally takes about like 20 to 30 minutes in the beginning, especially on longer hair. But if you're just starting to braid, please don't skip this step. Sometimes you can actually finesse the end results by having really nice parts. So even if your braids aren't technically up to par just yet, but if your rows look really good, that's how you can finesse it until you get better. So pre-parting is your friend. And here all I'm doing is I'm just connecting that middle part to the front. So that way when I start to braid the hair, everything just kind of flows from the front, middle, back. Again, we're focused on placement. Your parts in the front should align and connect with the parts that you're putting in the middle back. If your row in the middle back is way thicker than the row in the front that's connecting to it, then somewhere you're off, and you would have to go and just measure that a little bit differently and fix it. So basically all the rows need to be the same width. That's like I might say, it's better to cornrow it, that way you can actually see it. So you see everything is connecting. It's the same width from the front to the back. And then you'll repeat it on the other side. So on the other side, your first part should be the one that was at the top when you first started. So that first top row is the first row that you should connect and twin on the other side. And again, it's all about placement. So your parts should be connecting all throughout the head. Same width, same thickness, same everything. You can't have one side thicker or slanted, and like I'm fixing her head, it's not their fault. Sometimes the client think that they're helping you by tilting their hair forward, but again, if your client's chin is to their chest, your lines will be off. Unless you have an eye for that kind of stuff and you can part their heads down. I mean, sometimes I still do it, but just gently kind of just redirect their head back up. And if you do it at least a couple of times back to back, they'll get the memo. So again, if you're new to pre-parting and you're new to braiding, I would suggest that you just keep the cornrows throughout the whole pre-parting instead of just plaiting out the section. So now we'll just repeat the same in the front over here. Again, start with that middle part row. I always do middle parts on my clients. I feel like it gives them a basic playing field because they can flip-flop their hair to either side, but if it's symmetrical, parted down the middle is perfect. And then just connect the back rows Again, as you're going, each row, each section should be the same width. We're focused on placement. You will clean the parts as you go, as you start to braid. And yeah, that's about it. So when you're done pre-parting, this is what you should look like. All even placement everywhere. And you're good to go. Comment down below what other videos y'all would like me to do. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more braiding tips. And I'll see you next time.